watching Alaska's news source.
And good afternoon, Alaska. Welcome to Snowtown, USA. I'm your host, Dave Allgood, and this is a professional who knows more about Snowtown than anybody.
Oh, my gosh.
Melissa Fryer, Chief Meteorologist. How are you guys doing? You doing good? All right. And you doing good?
Doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doing good? All right. Well, what's going on with you?
Well, just forecasting snow. You know, getting through one storm, checking the totals, and then moving right into the
I know,
next.
but people love it. They want to know. They want to know about the snow because there's been a lot of it.
Yeah, make sure you're prepared.
All right, we got some good stories for you. Cows go maverick, bovines, rain, and bad guys. Another pun for you? High-stakes chase.
Oh,
Stick around for cows and...
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we also have a really sweet story for you about a talented photographer. He has a real gift for capturing a story, but has a growing disability that you would think would really impair your ability to be a photographer. We'll tell you all about that.
Yeah, they don't want to miss that one as well. But, of course, weather always your number one. You're number one in our hearts.
Yeah,
so,
you need to be prepared for the next couple of days. So we
Yep.
had a little snow today, not too big of a deal there. And that storm's just about done. We have a few lingering light snow showers up over the higher peaks here of the Chugach Mountains, up near Hatcher Pass and into the valley. Expect here in the next 24 hours coming up next.
All right, Melissa, thanks a lot. We'll check in with you in a minute. Here are your top 4 headlines at 4. 3 men and a dog are safe after being rescued from a boat ran aground near Whittier. The U.S. Coast Guard got a distress call from the fishing vessel Privateer about noon yesterday. The crew had put on survival suits and were about to abandon the 45-foot boat as it was being slammed against the rocks on Esther Island. Several Good Samaritan vessels also responded. The men and the dog were hoisted into a Jayhawk helicopter by the Coast Guard. Good news for them. A snow machiner in the valley was rescued after falling through the ice. Alaska State Troopers say 29-year-old Chris Hartman got separated from his party and went through the ice. On the Knik River, he lost his machine, but managed to get on the ice island. A person from his group and a Good Samaritan stayed on scene and kept an eye on him until rescuers got there. Troopers and Butte Fire responded. Alaska Wildlife Troopers sent out 2 snow machines and an Argo. Hartman was checked by medics, but declined further medical treatment. Now, if you drive an Ascent, Subaru is suggesting you park it outside until you get it checked. The car maker is recalling more than 270,000 of their SUVs due to a fire risk. They're asking owners of the 2019 to 2022 models to park away from structures and don't leave them running unattended. If you notice smoke or smell coming from the dashboard or footwell, Subaru warns people to pull over, turn off the car, and call for roadside assistance. So far, no crashes or injuries have happened, and Subaru says only a small percentage of the Ascents are expected to have the problem. A brown bear cub tested positive for avian influenza on Kodiak Island. The Division of Wildlife Conservation says this was the first time HPAI has been found in a brown bear. The body of the cub, born this year, was found by a deer hunter who brought the carcass to a wildlife biologist. Alaska Department of Fish and Game says they investigated a similar case involving a black bear cub in Glacier Bay National Park, excuse me. She's been singing for 7 decades. Gladys Knight was recently honored at the Kennedy Center. We hear from the Empress of Soul. That's up next. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Well, at 78, Gladys Knight was just given a Kennedy Center honor. She's earned 7 Grammys, sold millions of records, and is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Michelle Miller recently sat down with Knight to talk about her long career. Wow, she looks great. All right, here's a look at what's coming up at 5 here on CBS 5.
You're watching Alaska's weather source.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Well, I wish she didn't have what she has coming. Melissa? Okay, well, I said that right. I'm glad you have weather for us. That's what I do.
Yes, yeah. Letting you know that we have a lot more weather coming. I think that's what you're alluding to. Wish we just had some sunshine, perhaps, in the forecast. But afternoon, Dave.
All right, thanks a lot, Melissa. And we are going to get a break, though, right? In the week.
Yeah, our break is right now into tomorrow morning, and then the next break will be after that. So, yeah, once we get into Thursday night, we'll have some time.
Okay, I think we need a little breathing room. That's all we're asking. We like the snow, a little breathing room.
Just some time between.
A little breathe. All right, thank you, Melissa. All right, while you were digging out and waiting for more snow in the UK, a dusting, unlike a donut, well, a donut is a treat. How creatures in England are reacting to the latest storm. That's up next.
Alaska's news source.
Well, I'm not telling you guys nothing. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Driving is a hassle. It's scary. Shoveling is hard work. But some in the UK are enjoying the snow they're getting.
Yeah.
Check out this fox caught on home security video in London. There he is running around in the backyard when a cat appears and starts chasing him. And there you go.
Well, they appear to play for at least a minute. And in case you're worried, according to the Fox Project, the last case of canine rabies was over 100 years ago. And they say there's been many reports of foxes being friendly with household pets, although that's not the case here in Alaska.
Well, and I think it's funny, Jackie Purcell heard cats and she came running out. So she's checking out the video. While we're looking at feats of snow, the UK is blanketed by just a couple of inches.
But that's enough for some to break out those sleds. Ian Lee reports from London. There is expected to last through the week. Isn't it nice to know that we're not alone?
Yeah. Well, I think we can all get through it. Humans can get through anything as long as we know we're not the only ones dealing with it.
Yes.
Right. We're not the only ones dealing with it.
Got this together.
So we got a group hug. Yeah, right. Come on, give us a sec. All right. A little closer to home. Here's a dog right here in Anchorage enjoying our recent snowfall. Check him out going through the snow.
So cute. And there's quite a bit more on the ground, of course, here than there was in UK. But that's not stopping Fido from getting around. Thanks to Kenna Kenai for the great video. Some dogs are like, nope, not even going to put one little paw on that white stuff. And then other dogs are like this, are like, yes, it's a play date.
Yeah, they're like, well, this feels so funny. I like this.
I love that.
All right. Happy dogs. The original came out 13 years ago. Hard to believe. And made $2.9 billion in its 34-week run. The cast talks about the newest Avatar movie, and Sigourney Weaver says, you won't eat popcorn. Well, it's here. The sequel to one of the biggest movie blockbusters of all time lands in theaters this week. Rick Damigella has a look at Avatar, The Way of Water. Yeah, I'm going to see that one, and I will have popcorn. Sorry, Sigourney. One person who wasn't at the Avatar, The Way of Water premiere, the director. Turns out James Cameron tested positive for COVID. He says he's feeling fine, but the virus showed up during a routine test. Cameron's first Avatar movie won 3 Oscars and was the world's highest-grossing film. How about that? All right, lending a helping hand? Well, or in this case, hooves. The cattle that put a suspect out to pasture. And Melissa, she's in the Weather Center with our statewide forecast. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us on CBS 5 at 4.
Alaska's news source.
Well, hello. You've heard of police dogs, right? But what about cows making a citizen's arrest? Jeannie Moose reports on how a group of bovines helped round up a suspect. Keep them doggies rolling. Hey, Melissa in the Weather Center, what's going on? Is it snow?
Yeah, eventually. Right now, though, this is the break. Back where you are. Coming up next, Dave.
All right. It's all about snow. And on a serious note, I mean, people here in town that live off the main streets can't get out of their houses. So
yes, those plows making their way here around the city. But if they haven't gotten to your street yet, it's really tough if you don't have four-wheel drive or a large vehicle.
Yeah, I can't imagine people out in the interior. It's got to be a mess. It's got to be a mess. So, all right. Thanks, Melissa. His life work is behind the lens.
You can't make me cry on camera, man. Oh, man. I thought my life was over.
Yeah, but a Brooklyn photographer just got some devastating news about his eyesight. That's up next. Thanks for joining us. He inspired the country with his images, a photographer with a keen sense of vision.
Yeah, but failing eyesight, Rena Ellis introduces us to Russell Frederick.
New York.
Yeah, I think we lose sight sometimes of the power of pictures because we're so into videos and TikTok videos and all this stuff and what we do for a living.
Yes.
But pictures are powerful.
Oh,
they
yeah, it
capture
tells a million words that you get out of one of those pictures. And true, it shows, too, the photography, the skill, the artistry in that has more to do with that. Like he said, he hasn't lost his sight, his vision, and that vision will carry through.
The guy behind the camera,
Yeah.
All right, here's what's coming up at 5 on CBS 5.
Single digits overnight. But who would have ever thought that we'd have 3 major significant snowstorms within about a week and a half? But that's
Not
our
this
reality.
guy. Not this new guy. I had no idea.
You didn't know what to expect. You're like, oh, this is Alaska.
Yeah.
And the snow is not obviously uncommon, but to get this many this close together, that's what's uncommon.
Well, it's funny because I got here in August and they said it never rains like this in August. And then September, they're like, we never get this much rain. And then now we got the snow. So.
Yes.
But I'm learning.
Maybe you brought it up.
I think I'm Mr. Rain. I'm Mr. Rainmaker. All right. Remember those volcanoes we were talking about? Well, the ones in Hawaii? Well, they're quiet now.
Yeah, both Mauna Loa and Kilauea on the Big Island.
A classroom with walls of sticky notes, but it's not just the color that grabs you, it's the messages on the notes as well. Josh Sprider introduces us to the inspirational teacher behind the display.
The sound of a
Wow. At the end of every school year, Miss Doucette laminates the new Post-its so they can be on display for years to come. She also has an Instagram page where she posts to keep them living on forever. You might want to check it out. All right, a new hairstyle and a new job from pop star to soldier. Tracy Sinclair's upset but happy, the member of BTS who just reported to duty. That's up next on CBS 5 and 4. He's not Elvis, but an international pop star. Just started his mandatory military service. Jin is the oldest member of the K-pop group BTS, and for the next year and a half, will be stationed near the demilitarized zone that separates North and South Korea. He showed up for duty with a close-cropped haircut. South Korea requires young men to serve in the military. Fans came out in the freezing cold to catch a glimpse of the performer. Somebody did, probably selling it on eBay, right? All right, the post office is honoring a civil rights leader with a new stamp. The stamp shows the late civil rights trailblazer and Congressman John Lewis, the Georgia Democrat, was a keynote speaker at the historic 1963 March on Washington. Lewis dedicated his life to activism, spending more than 3 decades of his life fighting for civil rights. Lewis died in 2020 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Well, Florida's orange crop is expected to be about half of what it was last year, and the smallest crop since 1937. The Department of Agriculture is estimating farmers will bring in only about 20 million boxes of oranges. Officials blame extreme weather like hurricanes and a citrus disease for the low supply. That means orange juice prices are expected to rise next year and stock to go up on Tang. Yeah, there you go. Santa skis, an event in Maine where Santa and his helpers got a little exercise, is in before his big night. And plus Melissa, she'll have another look at our forecast. A little spoiler for you, snow. There you go. We'll be right back. Hello. Today, Jeremy Roth answers the age-old question, where is Mrs. Claus from?
We need to know. Also, Dave, since you missed it while you were gone last week, he also tells us about a little girl looking for a special pet license.
When it comes to wish lists and animals, there are the usual Jeremy Roth.
That's the Santa spirit. It's everywhere.
It is.
They're everywhere. Or that's how a spider sees. There's only one guy, not
Right.
a skier, but a
All of
spider
them.
goes, there's everywhere. That's why the spiders need 8 legs, because they're not sure where to go. There's like, I see everybody.
There it is. Yeah, and it looked like Alyeska. They do that, of course.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
coming up, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
and
yep.
a lot of snow coming in for all those winter sport enthusiasts. We are going to see, again, the next round pushing in here midday tomorrow. About noon is when I expect the snow to ramp up for the next time here in Anchorage. Continuing through the night, be prepared for snow during the evening commute. We'll also see that into early Thursday, and again, a chance we'll see a little rain mixed in there as well.
So at lunch, just go on straight home. Go straight home.
Might be an option.
All right, evening news is next. Thanks, folks. Have a good night.